Hello and thank you for joining me. I'm Heather Forgan of stampwithnellie.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator based in the UK. Today I want to show you this card that I have made using the Friends Are Like Seashells stamp set and the coordinating Seaside Seashells dies. I will be using this one, and last but not least the Seashells 3D embossing folder. So this looks like a fairly clean and simple card, but there's a little bit more to it than you might think. So I'm just going to show you how I made it. I'm bringing in a piece of scrap here, and I've got my card that I am going to have as this layer here. I'm using one of the masks from the Plenty of Patterns set. There are 4 masks in that set. I'm just going to put a bit of tape there to hold that in place. Now this card that I've made using Crumb Cake and Pool Party, and I'm going to change that up to Crumb Cake and Balmy Blue. So just getting some ink on to my blending brush, and putting that on through this mask. Blending it upwards. So I do want there to be some ink on the top there, but not as deep as we've got at the bottom. Okay, so it might not look like there's very much there, but when I lift this up, you will see that there is ink on the top bit there. So I'm quite happy with that. Now the sentiment, I've got that ready to stamp as well, and I'm going to stick with Crumb Cake. So I shall stamp that first of all, and then I'll die cut it using one of the Stitch Rectangles dies. Okay. Put that to the side, ready for die cutting. I've also mounted the shell stamp, and again using Crumb Cake ink, just stamp that onto that piece of scrap there. Now I will come back and do some blending after I've done my die cutting. So I'll just close that, and I will line this up with the die like so. Okay, got a little bit of washi tape here that I can hold that in place. So I'm going to die cut that first, and I will die cut this as well. So bear with me just a moment whilst I get that done. Okay, so I'm going to leave this in here, and I am just going to add some more of that Balmy Blue ink onto that. Just knock back the white a little bit and kind of coordinate it with the rest of the blue we've got there. So just a little bit of that ink on there. Now This is a tip I got from my friend Jez, who is Nigeza Creates, and I get lots of inspiration from her YouTube channel. So this, as I say, so one of her tips is to keep your dye in keep your sentiment in the dye there, add a little bit of ink, and then when you take it off you've got that nice bright edge on there. So great idea. Thank you to Jez of nigeza.co.uk. Now I also want to do embossing on this. So the embossing folder marries up with this whole die, but I've only done partial piece of the die, so I'm just lining that up with these pieces as well as that there, and this is a 3D one, so I need to use the 3D plate. So I've just got plate 1 in my embossing folder, and then plate 4 on here. And there we go, we've got that embossed. Now I want to trim out, just using my snips, trim off the excess from around that shape, and it's much easier to do after you've done the embossing, because you've kind of got that embossed line to follow as well. There we go. That will do nicely. Okay, so we've got most of the elements of this now. I want to add in some Wink of Stella onto this shell as well. Which hopefully you can see. Okay, so we've got some shimmer on that, as well as a tiny little bit of blue. I want to add that onto the next card layer. There we go. Now, for the trim, I used both the metallic mesh ribbon, which is lovely and shimmery, and I also used, just trying to find it there, some linen thread. Now, I've cut a piece of the silver metallic mesh ribbon, and I'm going to add some colour to that using my Stampin' Blend. So this is dark balmy blue, and it's quite subtle, but hopefully you can tell on that one that there is some colour on there. You can see it more when you do it with a darker colour. Just takes a little bit more patience to do this type of ribbon than it does with the normal white ribbon, seam binding ribbon that I normally colour with my Stampin' Blends. As I say, just adding that little touch of colour on there. That should do us nicely. So there is a little touch of blue on that as compared to the silver we've got there. Okay, now for the linen thread, all I did was untangle it. So there are 3 threads that have been wound together, and I am just trying to get the 3 bits apart, like so. Try and do it all the way. There we go. There we are. So I've got 3 pieces, kind of putting them roughly back together again. Put that in the middle, tie that into a knot like so, and then into a rough bow. Certainly don't need to be precise with this one, because what I might do is pull some of them so that they're not all nice and equal, and then that is what I want to add onto my card, and I'm going to do that. Now I did a glue dot with my last one. The other bit that I forgot actually was I added some stamping on this. Now let me just grab a block and that little stamp. Bring my scrap paper back in because I didn't do it full strength. I stamped off like so. So we've got a little bit of detail in those corners. This bit is going to go on flat. I think I can get rid of that scrap now. So I want to center that on here. Try and get it as straight as I can. Happy with that. I've got that to put on, and my shell, where are you? There we are. Okay, so I am going to add a couple of glue dots onto my bits of ribbon. Like so. I'm going to pop that on there, and then that will go over that, and I can trim those bits down in just a moment. I'm going to pop that on with some dimensionals. Don't want a dimensional right beside the knot of the ribbon. I'm going to put some down there and over there. Kind of play about with that a little more. Happy with that. Can go there and pop that up with some dimensionals as well. Like that, and then pop that on. Just trying to get it parallel with those edges there. Need to chop it down a little bit, and that on, and just add a bit more interest, just kind of distressing it even more so we've not got straight lines on there. Just try and make sure that I've got these kind of separated as well. It doesn't look too neat. Make it lovely and unique, just like the sentiment. Finishing touch is to add in some of the opal rounds. One there, go with a larger one on here, and a smaller one. We'll just put him in there like that, and there we have it. Two unique cards, lots of texture in there, little bit of colour added. We've got that glistening opal rounds, little bit of Wink of Stella on there, and the shimmer from that ribbon as well. I hope you've enjoyed these cards. If you have, please give me a thumbs up, leave a comment, that would be fabulous. If you're new to my channel, then please also click on that subscribe button. Until the next time, take care. Bye bye.